To call this Finance Committee meeting to order. The date is the 30th of May. The time is 3:04. With us today, we have Alderman Tolliver, Alderman Bade, Alderman Warman, Alderman Bug, and myself, Alderman Franco. First item is 24-0389, approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting held on May 16, 2024. We have a motion by Alderman Bade, second by Alderman Bug. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Madam Clerk, anybody from the public wishing to speak?
No, we do not.
Okay. The next item on the regular agenda is 24-0169, a resolution authorizing F.H. Passion SN Nielsen and Associates, LLC, using the City of Aurora Job Order Contracting Program to remodel the City Hall fifth floor storage area for $94,604.22 and a 10% contingency of $9,460.42.
Good afternoon, committee, aldermen, and city staff. Guadalupe Gonzalez, Superintendent of Facilities, and I'm here to ask for your approval of this resolution presented before you, and I will open up if you have any questions.
Questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
We have a motion by Alderman Warman, a second by Alderman Tolliver. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Next one is 24-0362, a resolution authorizing Director of Purchasing to enter an agreement with LDV Custom Specialty Vehicles in the amount not to exceed $268,800 for the construction of a rapid deployment and surveillance vehicle for the APD Special Response Team.
Good afternoon, committee. Lieutenant Bill Rowley on the Administrative Services, Lieutenant for the Aurora Police Department. I do have a very, very brief presentation, if I can find a clicker. Okay, so I'm going to say click out loud. Our next slide, or something like that. The leadership from the Aurora Police Department Special Operations Group put together a brief presentation for you, just to highlight some of the things that the Special Operations Group does and has done for years, and as that pertains to our request here for this specialty use vehicle. As many of you know, our Special Operations Group, or we call them SOG, they're responsible for a lot of proactive investigations and enforcement, including gun seizures, gang and narcotics enforcement, prostitution and human trafficking enforcement, and some other things. Oop, there we go. Also, alcohol and tobacco and business compliance. We also support our federal task force partnerships. That's the DEA, FBI, and so on. That's all manifest through our Special Operations Group. Next slide, please. Over the past 3 years, here's some examples you see before you of some of the things that our Special Operations Group has either seized or have participated in investigations, including numerous guns, including automatic firearms and what we call ghost guns or untraceable guns, a myriad of illegal drugs. That's our regular stock and trade in the SOG group, and millions of dollars in cash, including 20 grand in seized U.S. in currency and millions seized by our federal task force. Of course, a lot of that stuff comes back to the City of Aurora to help continue our law enforcement efforts. And part of this is all taking place due to literally hundreds of hours of covert surveillance that our SOG officers and our partners have participated in. Next slide, please. This is just some rough pictures of our current surveillance vehicle. This is a 2004 cargo van. We just gave you the goods here just so you can sort of get a general idea of what we're dealing with now. This is greatly deficient in what our men and women need for the surveillance. So we're looking for you now. If you have next slide, please. So we regularly conduct surveillance, execute search warrants, and other high-risk operations that require a dependable vehicle. We currently use an 04 cargo van to accomplish these tasks. That van has numerous mechanical issues. The little tube you saw on that last slide was our ad hoc HVAC system where we pumped air, such as it is, to the men and women in the back. And it's due to be removed from the fleet, let's be honest. This new vehicle that we're proposing will provide the Special Operations Group with a modernized surveillance deployment vehicle with more seating, better HVAC, and some high-tech surveillance system incorporated into that. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, there we go. Here are our general costs for the vehicle. Our quoted price for the vehicle is $251,849. We've received about a $9,300 GSA discount as part of our GSA pricing on this. For that total, be $242,531. There is an industrial funding fee that's been added, so our total discounted price is $244,364, and we've added a 10% contingency, which is sort of the standard. We think it's going to take somewhere between 12 and 18 months to have this thing built, so we do expect some prices could go up. And also, I'd like to point out that the entirety of this is going to be paid for with our Department of Treasury assets forfeiture account, and that's all in line with the Guide to Equitable Sharing for state, local, and tribal law enforcement agencies. So none of the money that we're looking for here comes out of city coffers. It's strictly asset forfeiture money that we've worked hard and earned back through some of these ongoing investigations. Next slide, please. I think that's it. So I do have some additional information that's not included on the slide. The vendor that we're looking for is the same vendor that we've used to construct our command post, our mobile command post that many of you I know have seen out on scenes. Our SRT vehicle, which is also manufactured by the same company. And so we have a history with these folks. They are operating under a GSA contract. One of the stipulations to the contract that I want to make sure that the committee is aware of is that if we choose GSA pricing on this, we agree under the John Warner National Defense Authorization Act that we use this vehicle to facilitate recovery from major disasters should they be declared by the president under the Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. So we agree to use this vehicle if needed, if there's a national disaster that's called for under those regulations. So that gave us this special GSA pricing, which is both discounted and it's acceptable to the purchasing division. So I'm able to entertain any questions if you have any.
Questions or comments from the committee?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Bug?
Of course, there's limited information you can give us about this, but can you say is the vehicle new or used?
This is going to be a brand new vehicle built from
It
the
is?
ground up.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So of course, I imagine our '04 Chevy van kind of blended into things where our new vehicle may not. Where do we just kind of throw some dirt on it and get it dirty? Although you said 18 months to retrofit it, so it's not gonna.
It won't be shiny off the showroom floor, I suspect. And without giving the house away here, the plan is to build this in a way that it will be a usable surveillance vehicle. So that would be all inclusive, including its ability to blend in with other similar vehicles that are already out there in the world, things like that. So and we are, of course, for obvious reasons, keeping a hush on
Right.
a
Of course.
lot of the specifics here.
All right. Thank you.
Sure thing.
I have a question. And I understand the contingency, but typically when we order certain things, let's say we order it now and they're gonna build it for us X amount, we're kind of set in the price. So we anticipate once we order it, we say we want all this stuff and it's in what we originally thought the price was gonna be. Wouldn't they just say, all right, you're locked in now, even though in 12 months a price could go up for this, but because you ordered it this, how that would work?
I do. I think we're trying to build that contingency in just in case there's something unavoidable
Unusual.
that comes up that we can't foresee, rather than bringing this back in front of finance and the council again. We just like to have that cushion.
Sure.
And this is a great case of if we don't use it, we won't lose it. It goes right back into our
Right.
treasury fund. So we're looking for that wiggle room, just
Right.
because you never know. Tires might cost more,
Sure.
or supply chain. That's
Right.
the good old fashioned
All right.
upcharge for everything. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Alderman Tolliver?
Just a quick question. From looking at the pictures that you sent, I'm just kind of curious as why it took so long to to get this new vehicle, or, I mean, especially with the HVAC system that was in there.
Well, this vehicle has been in discussions for quite some time, and the police department, they try to be judicious with their funding, and they also want to make sure they set proper priorities. Not that this was never a high priority, but we found other priorities that just took its place for now, and we're at a time right now where we realize that we've got both the funding and the means to do this, so we could have done it a lot sooner, I suppose, but then perhaps other things would have been put on a back burner that we also needed, so.
Okay, a motion to approve?
Alderman Bade?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for the great presentation. I just wanted to ask, is this type of item eligible for any kind of grants that we get?
You know, we didn't seek any grant funding for this. Again, we had Treasury funding. We have enough Treasury funding to handle this expense without any dilemma. So that was our first option. I suspect that grant funding could have been available. However, there are reporting requirements that go along with grants that we may not have been as comfortable with, given the sort of the covert nature of the ask here. We try not to get this out too far into the world, and grants sometimes require very elaborate reporting. So I think, given the fact that we had Treasury funds available, this seemed like the shortest distance between 2 points.
And the other question I have is, why is it taking so long now?
Alderman Bate, I couldn't possibly tell you how.
It is not because of pandemic, it is...
No, I think it's a very complex construction. And
Okay.
if I recall correctly, our command post and our other specialty vehicles from the same vendor, you know, there's a backlog. They're probably the premier specialty vehicle, certainly in the Midwest, if not in the country, and they have a backlog. So we have to get in line and wait behind a lot of other folks in the country. So,
Thank you. Second.
yes, ma'am.
All right, so we have a motion by Alderman Tolliver, second by Alderwoman Bade. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you, committee.
Next item on the agenda is 24-0411, a resolution to approve proposals to use existing funds for Luminara Festival, the city's first annual interactive light and sound experience.
Hi, Jennifer Burden, Director of Public Art. Thank you for your time on this. If we could go to the next slide. So we put out a total of 8 calls for submissions, 6 RFPs, 1 RFQ, and 1 informal bid. We've now selected the submissions for all of these and are going to finance as collectively these are more than $50,000, although no single contract is over $50,000. One of the RFPs that we went out for, we are not moving forward with that. That was a grant-funded augmented reality that we're putting into, we're gonna do a scope change on the grant and use that on some other applications that are, I think will have more impact on the festival. So if we, here it says that the total on these contracts is $214,500. The total reimbursements on this portion of the festival from the state for the DCEO grant that we received is $72,700. So the total cost to the city for these contracts is $141,800. As we go forward on these slides, you can see that this is for a tremendous number of contracts. So going in order, first we saw the drone display. That's just some examples of what the company we selected. All of these were selected using a purchasing's review and rubric system by 3 staff members. So this is an example of some of the animations that the drone company can do. This will be 11 to 13 minutes, 200 drones. And this display will be on Sunday, October 13th. Next slide. Narrative projection mapping. We have 2 kinds of projection mapping that we are going to have on display. This particular one is going to be projected onto the GAR Museum. And because the projector can be in the David L. Pierce Art and History Center on the 3rd floor in the gallery, we can have it go all month. So we're looking at having this every weekend. We don't want to do it every night, make it not so special and be a problem with traffic, but we can have that ongoing. This will be a 4-minute program that tells a story about Aurora as the city of lights, and it's to music, and then it will repeat throughout the evenings. The next one is responsive projection mapping. This one is going to be on the east facade of the old library at 1 East Benton. So in this case, what responsive means is that guests can go up to that wall there and touch the wall and move around, and it changes the video and changes the sound. So it's an interaction between the media and our guests. Next, we have lighted installation arts. So we've selected, to stay within budget, we've selected 5 artists for this category. And this is a total of 10 projects. Some of these projects are multiple sculptures or activations per artist. So if we, and then 18,000 is going to be grant reimbursement. That's from the augmented reality that we are changing the scope on. So the total cost to the city will be 49,500 for something like, it'll be something like 20 sculptures. So if we can go to the next slide. Liviu Pasare is a Chicago artist that he worked with the Blue Man Group. He's all over Chicago doing the art on the Merchandise Mart, and he is going to be participating in 2 projects. One will be under the DSC Bridge at 77 South Broadway. He's going to activate that space with his video projection. On the left, you can see there's these boxes, these acrylic boxes that inside have video projection of abstracted imagery of Aurora's past, present, and future that will be playing. It's kind of conceptual, but it's pretty interesting stuff. And with some projection, we'll be using that cement cube wall on the side. And so it's a really interesting space to activate that a lot of artists from around the country have been very interested in doing some cool stuff under that space. If we go to the next slide. This artist is Miguel Gonzalez. I had a chance to see his work in Miami at the opening of the Super Blue Museum a few years ago. That's all light arts and light art installations. It's so cool. He had a piece there. So I was very pleased to see that his submission came in. So the piece he had in Miami was the first incarnation of this artwork that he's repeating. The third incarnation will be this summer at the London Royal Academy of Art. And then the fourth will be here in Aurora at the Benton Fountain. It's using light and lasers. So there's really no mass to the piece, but it creates a great volume within the space of the Benton Fountain area, and it will be activated with live dancers. If we go to the next slide. So this one's a little more straightforward. This artist is from Florida, and it's a barrel boy, whole barrel family. So these are reused barrels that are lit from within. That red one is 17 feet tall. So these will be placed behind the Aurora sign in the lawn across from City Hall. And because they're static, a static installation, they can be up for all month of the festival. So it makes a nice connecting point that we've got the Sonic runway, as you recall, on Water Street Mall. We're gonna have those big inflated spheres, the Exposure Project. We've moved that to Mundy Park, right off Broadway, because the lawn across from City Hall is at too much of a grade. And then we'll have these guys in City Hall that sort of draw you toward the DSC, where we'll have the pool. So those will be the 4, and then so we'll have those 5 big ones all month long. Next slide, please. Adam Molsky is a jack-of-all-trades artist that we identified. The first project, this portal stage, will be next to on North Island Center, right along the river. This is a 20-foot wide proposal with, it's a selfie station with multiple elements and a video portal that people can interact with, and they will also be providing some performers for the space, which it's fun that it's a stage. It'll be next to the Paramount's Bold series. And then Adam Molsky will also be doing some multiple portal-themed sculptures for wayfinding throughout the space, and we'll be working on our Metro project. So we are doing art installations in 2 Metra cars. So that's 4 compartments. So they'll be lighted on the outside of the cars for the month of October, and with installation art on the inside of the cars for the month of October. Next slide, please. Alec Rudek is going to be another artist that's going to work on the Metro project, and then he's also doing 2 artworks in Millennium Plaza. This one on the right, people can use video game controllers set up to make music and fog and lights, and then the other one is an example of the sort of activation that will be happening with the gazebo in Millennium Plaza, which will be an alternate stage space during the festival. Next slide, please. And then this is a partial list of the artists and performers that we'll be hiring. And what I want to bring to your attention is just what we're getting for that dollar amount. So the cost to the city after the DCEO state grant is $43,300. So this is all for the weekend entertainment. We are going to be transforming the downtown, these 4 square blocks of the downtown, with something like 24 or more roving performers. What's been wonderful is that we've identified through our submission process a production company that can take care of a lot of this for us. So, we're paying some different performers, like a clown playing an accordion, or different like circus-themed performers and puppeteers. So, there's a couple $100 for this contract, a couple $100 here. So this production company is bringing us something like 24 performers to perform Friday and Saturday, different circus performers, different puppeteers, roving performers that are activating the space and really creating this big energy and interacting with the public. Also bringing an interactive drone VR, so there's a drone pilot that's going to be flying over the festival area throughout the time of the festival that people can try on these VR glasses, so it's like they're flying, and some different high-tech things. We're also having live music, fire performance, acrobats on all of these nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we have some puppeteers, installation and performance, and there's another artist in here who's doing scavenger hunts. We will have NFC technology, which will be counting people who download the app for the scavenger hunt, so we can get an idea on how many people are interacting with these installations. And next slide, please. Just an example of some of these artists. And next slide, please. And lastly, this is the festival area. The yellow is what we definitely have budgeted for a month, and the red is what we definitely have budgeted for at least the weekend. Also, the Downer Street between Stolp or the DLP and Broadway will be shut down 3 evenings on the 11th, 12th, and 13th, just in the evening, as well as Water Street between Downer and Benton. I'd be happy to take any questions.
I have a couple questions, looking at the pricing. So that 42,000 on the last slide, and I think there was one that had 49,000. I think I see in here that that's part of the 217, what is it? 214, 141,000 that we're paying. Then I see on this one sheet that it's got the line items for stuff, and I see some are reimbursed via the grant and some are not, but there's similar type of things. Is that random how you spread them out, or is there a particular, because I see installation art, some are reimbursed and some aren't. So I'm just trying to figure out, is that we got all the money and we just spread it out, or this particular thing is only qualified for whatever reason?
Yes, it's very specific. The DCO grant is very specific. So we have, for example, $30,000 for projection mapping.
Okay.
So between the narrative and the responsive projection, the industry pricing, the best value, we were able to do $45,000 for both of those projects together. We have $30,000 for that from the grant.
And then But these, and it's, the reason it's confusing because, for example, this Lavu Passar, he gets 3,000 for reimbursement for what he does. It seems like the guy below him does the same thing, and he gets no reimbursement. Not that it's a big deal, the money's the money, but I just wondered why, similar, I guess similar, they wouldn't be qualified.
I understand what you're looking at now. Yes, on that table that you
Yeah,
have,
Sure.
it is just going down the line, so it doesn't matter which artist it is. It's just that we're hiring 5 different artists for this category, and that first 15 is covered by the grant, the next 3 is covered by the grant, and then the rest of it
And they
is
just
the
did it. So
city.
it's
Yeah.
not willy-nilly, but but you have the sum. You could have said, I'll just give a little bit to each one of them, but just figure out, just use it right off the top, and the rest of them, it doesn't matter, because the money's all going in the same pot anyway?
Correct. It all goes to the lighted installation art pot, not
Okay.
to a specific artist.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Alderwoman Bade?
Thank you for providing the map and detailed presentation. It's really very exciting to see something happening in our city. What happens if there is snow? They will still work?
Regardless of weather, we will carry on.
Okay, show must go on.
Yes.
And
Let's say rain that early.
Rain.
Let's not say snow.
I mean, we've had snow
Well,
on
we have, but
Halloween.
let's not say it. Let's
And
not say it.
rain, maybe. I just saw the SUV with the advertisement. It looks very nice, so perfect timing for that. I wanted to ask if you're going to have some flyers, because most of us will have back-to-school events during summer, and we can actually help in advertising at our events.
Yes, the communications department is working hard on marketing and fundraising for the event.
Okay, but
Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. So they are, Jen's right, they are working on, and they've started to produce a variety of marketing materials, paper, online. So everything, there's gonna be a launch very soon. We're just finalizing things. But what you see like on the wrapped vehicle, it's gonna be even more dynamic than that. And let me just, if I may,
Sure.
give a lot of credit to Jen and the team. This has been a little bit like herding cats because there's so many different elements to this. But we did not want to, we want to live up to the spirit of the grant that we got and go beyond that. And so that's why you see such a dynamic, widespread application of this in the downtown. The team is working on the entire month. The focus has always been this grand weekend, and a lot of this is linked to that. But we are working on an opening night at the beginning of October. Kind of think about it like the light Olympics, right? There's going to be an opening, and there'll be a closing, but then there will be select events beyond this weekend throughout the entire month. So again, we're driving home the emphasis that we are wanting to bring and attract people downtown throughout the month to enjoy this amazing artwork. Also, all these other little special events and musical accompaniments and immersive and interactive art installations for people to experience of all ages. So I think as we get this done tonight, or I'm sorry, this round, after that, you'll really start to see things ramp up from an announcement standpoint, a marketing standpoint, and a promotional standpoint. So we're very excited. Businesses are getting excited about participating. We're talking to sponsors, so we hope to bring in some significant sponsors. So this is the fun part of our job. It's a lot of work, but this is the essence of trying to create a brand-new, hopefully annual event that will be one of our signatures, hopefully. And we're very confident in that, and Jen's done a great job.
Alderman Bug?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Thank you both, because I was gonna go toward the fundraising next. So that's, of course, a very important piece. I think a piece that will, with this quality of work we've done, I think will make it very easy. So I see, I'm looking at the schedule, so 9/6/2024, artwork is exhibited. So we're gonna have an initial thing on the first Friday in September. I'm assuming 9/6 is a Friday. I could be wrong.
That would be the gallery opening, yes.
The gallery, okay. Is that
Yes.
first Friday? I
Yes, so
imagine?
this, yes.
Okay,
And it's all on first Friday, so then October 4th is the first Friday when we
Okay.
have, the lights go on for the first time outside, and then November 1st is the first Friday, and that'll be the final date of the lights.
okay. Okay, and then the artwork comes down November 9th.
Second, yeah,
Second?
yes. So it'll start coming down after that, after those 4 weeks.
Okay, I was just looking at this one sheet, says October 9th. And I wish it was October. What I was looking at, just in my head, that we're getting close to our Christmas show at the Paramount. Of course, and then maybe you've thought of this, if we had something the first week of November with some Frozen stuff on it, I mean, the kids, of course, would go crazy, and we want their parents to go crazy and go to the box office. So I imagine you've thought about some things like that, and hopefully we can make that come to fruition.
If I may, yes, the Special Events Department is working on that, and we've scheduled it so that we are dovetailing. We are bringing all of this Luminora and then packing up just as they need to start putting up all of the holiday decor and all of that lighting.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Jen, can
Alderman-
you please
Alderman
share
Bade?
this presentation with us?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Any other? Go ahead.
2 points of quick clarification. So to answer your question, these separate tables are subsets of the main budget. And then to your question on the 2 columns showing the total budget, the main budget on the left side, each artist will receive that full amount. That second column, that DCEO reimbursement, all that is the amount that we're able to get reimbursed by the state. So
Right.
some of the proposals, we can get reimbursed 100%. We tried to maximize each line item, and then when we ran out of money, we resorted back to the city funds.
Right. I mean, it makes sense when you say that. I just, when I see the same type of item, somebody gets 3,000, somebody gets 0, I was wondering why, but really it's just like the whole thing gets whatever. We just set it aside for these particular ones. It didn't make a difference because we got the totality of it anyway.
Correct, so they'll be
Right, right.
receiving the full amounts in that first column, and we'll make that update for committee of the whole,
Right,
just to
right.
clarify.
And if I could add one more thing to what Alderwoman Bay had said about the marketing and stuff like that, we do have, right before that, we're gonna have our National Night Out. It'll be a big night out here, so if we can get stuff out for that too, it's another vehicle to get stuff out. Because I gotta think the people that typically go to National Night Out would be certainly the type of people that go downtown in addition.
So if you noticed, at Memorial Day, the vehicle was in the parade, and they were passing out glow sticks with marketing materials attached to it. So they're ramping up, so definitely National Night Out will be a huge opportunity to market the festival, and they're gonna do it.
Well, that's a good question about the vehicle, because I saw it in the parking lot. It's pretty cool. Whose vehicle is that?
If we told you, we'd have to,
Yeah.
no, that's an old line. No, it's out of our fleet, and it
Okay,
will be
I-
returned back.
No, I mean, because I saw the City of Aurora and I saw the fun graphics on there too.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that us or is somebody, I didn't know for sure.
We thought we'd outfit every car that
Well,
way. I don't know if
you
anybody would notice
mine's
or
in a lot
not.
too, anytime you want to take it.
Especially undercover police right
Right,
now.
well, right. Well, there you go,
So-
use that baby, right, sure.
No, but it's out of our
Okay,
fleet.
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
and it'll
fine.
be returned.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. I
But
just saw it. on
kudos,
there.
that design was all done in-house.
Yeah, that's pretty
It
cool.
was great.
It looks good, good. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I believe we had a motion from Alderwoman Bay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tolliver. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes 5-0. Thank you on that. Anything else to come before the Finance Committee today?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a
Second.
motion to adjourn by Alderman Bay, second by Alderman Bug. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned at 3:38. Thank you, everybody.